Team Keep It Clean, congratulations, you made it. Today is the official announcement day. It's decision day. Today we will hear exactly which franchise tag the Ravens place on quarterback Lamar Jackson. Or actually, there's something else that could happen too. They could come to terms on a long-term agreement with him, even though I don't foresee that happening. I think that most people don't, but you never know because crazier things have happened. So today is such a monumental day in this offseason because it starts the shift of whatever's going to be happening next, whether Lamar's going to stay, whether Lamar's going to go, or whatever it's going to be. But today is huge in that process. So I figure, you know what? With today being such a special day, with today being such a big day, let's do something that we haven't done in a very long time. Questions from subs.
And you know just what I mean. You too, team, keep it clean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, that's my homie, ain't that right engraving.
So Team Keep It Clean, welcome to a special episode of Questions from Subs. And what that is a series where you can ask me any question you want to, and we answer it in a video just like this. If you ever want to be a part of it for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, and man, again, I gotta give y'all a special shout out to everybody who's been a Team Keep It Clean patron and everybody who's become a Team Keep It Clean patron. I feel like the list almost like doubled. It didn't necessarily double, but it feel like it doubled because so many people became patrons just for support, man. So I love y'all and I really appreciate y'all a lot. But for any patrons, you can send your question directly on Patreon. For anybody else, and don't feel bad if you're not a Team Keep It Clean patron, it's okay. But for everybody else, you can send your question to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. So without further ado, let's get into it. And this first question came from my guy, Gareth, who is a Team Keep It Clean patron. He said, Ingraven, I'm just wondering, what do you think the chances of Ravens drafting a quarterback are? I'm really worried because I want Lamar Jackson to stay with us. I cry even thinking about it. I think the chances are high because I don't think that he's going to be here. I want him to be here. I think he needs to be here, but I don't think the Ravens, I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to come to an agreement, and I think they're going to end up trading him. So I think the chances of the Ravens drafting the quarterback are high, depending on the Lamar Jackson situation first. But if it doesn't work out with Lamar Jackson, I think it all just depends on how they feel about the guys that are coming out. And it also depends on their draft capital, their draft position, and if they really feel strongly about certain guys coming out. And if they don't, then I could see them going through this year sort of as almost a wash. Like, all right, let's do what we could do, whatever. And then maybe they may really like somebody next year. And he said, P.S. I love that you make vids for us even when you're freelancing. I love it, Gabe. Appreciate it, man. He said, say hello to your family, and if you ever need anything, please let me know. You don't know what you've done for me as I've gone through a tough time lately. So I've been dealing with depression. Thanks to Graven, you have really helped me in a daily routine with your vids. I feel like I'm a family member and that I can share my feelings. Love you, bro. Hey, Gabe, I appreciate that, man. This is a really special way to start us off, so I appreciate you sharing that, man. I hope that you're doing a lot better. Next question came from my guy Juan G, and he said, did you see the private interview with Eric about Lamar? It seems really strange. He doesn't sound as confident as he did in the main interview. I kind of have a bad feeling about it. What do you think? I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it at all. I didn't even get through the whole presser interview from the combine. I ended up turning it off. Not because Eric said anything or did anything wrong or anything like that. I was just like, okay, whatever. He ain't really saying too much, so I was just like, okay. He said he talks about with Roquan that he spoke with him every day in person in his office. Then I thought about that time you brought up someone saying Lamar was ignoring the calls from Eric. It feels uncomfortable, like when two people are fighting from across from you in a waiting room. Strange analogy, but that's how I explained the way the interview made me feel. Hey, and we're going to see. We're going to see real soon. The next question came from my guy, Justin, who's been a patron for 4 days. So I appreciate you becoming a patron. He said, hey, man, absolutely love the content. Appreciate that. Sorry about your YouTube/sponsorship troubles. Hey, it's all good. It'll hopefully work itself out soon enough, man. I've been watching for a while now as a Lamar fan that was kind of converted to a Ravens fan. Hey, welcome aboard. It's all good. And he said, hope they re-sign him, but doesn't feel right lately. Oof, I think we can all agree about that one. Our next question came from Nova, who's been a patron for 6 months, so I appreciate it. He said, what's up, Ingraven? Nova here with another novel of 2 questions, but first some flowers. I have to begin by saying thank you. You're always a breath of fresh air with what you do, and there are no amount of words that can be said for how we as Team Keep It Clean family Appreciate the work, the sacrifice, and commitment you have. Truly, you are appreciated. And although YouTube is acting like a certain GM with your coins, oh, just know we have your back. Not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you got back up. And although it looks rough right now, just know you have a plethora of family to ride for you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Nova. He said, please stay positive and make sure your family stays in that positivity as well. As grateful as we are for you spreading joy, we can only hope it's reciprocating to you and yours. Stay up, brother. Oh, yeah, for sure it is, man. I appreciate this a lot, man. Thank you. And he said, with that, I can dive into my two questions. First, let me take you back to 2018. We had a Lamar takeover for an injured Flacco. At that point, our team was in the doldrums. No inspiration, not a lot to look forward to offensively, and straight up, we were a running team because our quarterback was so inconsistent. So first, Lamar Jackson takes the reins over for a team built for Flacco and only wins out in the regular season, with the only loss coming from the eventual Super Bowl winning Chiefs. I thought, no. So the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2019 in Lamar's MVP year. Yeah. Who won? Was it not the Patriots? Was it the Patriots that won that year? Who won in Lamar's rookie year? I don't even remember now. But I know the Chiefs, because when Lamar got his MVP, the Chiefs, that's when Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. And then obviously he won it again last year, but I don't remember who won in 2018. But anyway, he said, this run sneaks us into the playoffs where we play the Chargers, who are familiar with us, and they have our number. At this point, everyone loves Lamar. We as Ravens fans, coaches, other players, and even the media love him. There are haters, of course, but for the most part, all positive vibes in Charm City. 2019, I don't have to say much, as we all know what happened. A team coasting into the playoffs with a number one seed and just runs into a hotter team in the Titans and gets embarrassed in the playoffs. There are questions still about Lamar, but again, all love overall. 2020 makes for year 3 for Jackson, and expectations are high. Not the same amount of success in the regular season, but enough to make the playoffs and even a playoff victory. And now over the overconfident Titans. Then a stinker loss to the Bills in the divisional round where Lamar gets hurt. And this offseason presents the first time Lamar is eligible for the bag. The 5th-year option is picked up, but nothing contractual is solidified. From 2021 to now, it's been the same story since. Since then, we have had underwhelming seasons based off of what we expect from our team, and since we see Lamar start to show injuries. His play is now at a steady down trajectory to the point where we start questioning everything. Not just Lamar, but Roman, the weapons, the philosophy, the coaching, and if this 3-year run was an anomaly instead of the norm. Now you see the media attack. Some coaches think he's a better RG3 or Vic, but nothing special anymore. His teammates question his commitment, and now even us as fans are fatigued with this contract fiasco. Which leads to my questions finally. If back in 2020 there was uncertainty about Lamar and a long-term deal, would it have made sense to try and trade him then? Or was this Ravens' brass idea to begin with? In 2020, he was way too beloved to even thought about being traded. So what if front office decides to drag this out with the intentions of souring everyone's opinion of Lamar from loving him to being indifferent, where we are now? As much as it's been clamored that waiting is only helping Lamar, as a side effect, it becomes more daunting to the fan base to eventually change their opinion so they can move on and find something else new to cheer about. Dirty tactic for sure, but what if this was the play all along, to change the cognition of everyone on him so they can pull the plug on a trade and this not affect the jobs of the front office? Love to hear your thoughts. Wow. Ooh, that is a powerful question right there. Now, something that you said earlier, where you talked about, you said from 2021 to now, it's been the same story. And you mentioned his play now is at a steady down trajectory to the point where we start questioning everything. Not just Lamar, but Roman, the weapons, the philosophy, the coaching, and if this 3-year run was an anomaly instead of the norm. Well, so that's, yeah, for some people. Here, we were questioning all of that after that playoff game in 2019, and just really after the season. Because it was obviously a great season, but we questioned on here. We said, all right, what are they going to do now? How are they going to evolve from that? And they just never really did. Schematically, with the personnel, they never really evolved. And again, that year was like crazy. It was crazy good. They obviously broke so many records and whatnot. This was new. It was brand new what they were doing. But then if you bring out something brand new, yeah, hey, it's like when you buy a loaf of bread, real bread. I know that the butter bread is so good. I think, what is the brand? Wonder Nature? I forgot what the brand is, but you know that butter bread, it lasts forever. It don't never go stale. So it ain't real bread. But when you get real bread, it's brand new, it's fresh, it's great, it tastes so nice. But then after a while, it ain't gonna be brand new forever, and it's gonna get stale. And that's what happened with Ravens offense. It just ended up getting stale. There was a lack of innovation. There was a lack of creativity. There was a lack of using guys the right way. There was just a lack. So, yeah, this is something that we've been questioning for years. But anyway, as far as the Ravens sort of plotting that way, I don't necessarily think they were plotting like that way back then. Like, oh, we're gonna really drag this thing out and then make the fans turn on Lamar, so when we trade him, it doesn't look so bad. No, I don't think they will be plotting like that. I think that with them picking him up in the first round in 2018, this allowed the whole process to, like, hey, it gives you an extra year. I just don't think that they ever really fully believed in Lamar, and I don't think they ever really fully did. And I think he was they took him as sort of a project, and I don't think they really expected him to do as good as he did. I don't. But that's just my opinion on that whole thing. He said, second question is as follows. If a trade is imminent, how would you feel about him going to the Commanders? Hear me out. I mean, I would be sad if he's traded to wherever. But obviously, if he goes there, like... He brings the NFC East, like he puts them right in the thick of things. He has a Terry McLaurin, Dotson. He got like some weapons over there, and he puts them right back in the thick of things. He will be working with Eric Bieniemy. We talked about it in the video yesterday about Dan Snyder. That rumor is about Dan Snyder like watching him and stuff and whatnot, and possibly making that move for Lamar. So on his way out, but. Like, if he's not on the Ravens, I'm gonna be sad, but I'm gonna be happy for him and hope that he gets his money and hope that he does his thing and just kills it for whatever team he goes to, because I know he will. Anyway, he said, hear me out. For one, they now have Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator, someone Lamar respects. While the offensive line is meh, he has weapons at receiver and running back and a defense that features an amazing pass rush on paper. He would also have Rivera, who has spent most of his career with a quarterback with similar talent as with Cam Newton. And the biggest domino is Dan Snyder. If you remember my question in September 2022, I mentioned how these owners are in their own club and how they abhor fully guaranteed contracts. Ooh, that's a powerful word for hate. That's a powerful word. He said abhor. Oof. But yeah, how they abhor fully guaranteed contracts and will do all they can to avoid them so as to not make them the norm. Well, Dan is being exiled by these same owners, so what if he makes a last hurrah and tempts Lamar to move down to I-95 with this fully guaranteed contract, a contract that he wouldn't have to foot the bill on as he's exiting ownership of the team, a move that fit his petty nature as some type of get back to the other owners who voted him out in the first place. Makes a lot of sense and would have a ripple effect as now the quarterback market shifts drastically and now puts these other owners in a position where they have to top this. It would be total chaos. But, yeah, it would be. But it is possible. You know what's crazy is that you sent this question on February 28th. So you sent this question a week ago. The article came out yesterday from Matthew Berry, and it said all the same stuff. Exact same stuff. Are you an NFL insider? Next question came from my guy Kelvin. He said, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Team, keep it clean. Oh, he definitely ain't no legend at all, but I appreciate you. He said, my name is KC. Been a huge fan of the channel since day one. I'm a huge Ravens fan, and I'll be going to the games. Been watching you for the longest, like back when you had less than 10K. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. What a journey it's been for you, and I'm glad to see your channel growing. I've always thought about doing YouTube. I need to go buy a camera first. LOL. Hey, go for it, man. Go for it so we can hear your thoughts on these Ravens too, man. He said some questions I have on the team. Do you think that just because players go to the Pro Bowl, their value increases? Yeah, it does. Because when it's contract time, and some players even got this in their contracts, that they get more money. They get bumps in their pay because they made it to the Pro Bowl. So Pro Bowl is big. Whether you feel like somebody deserves it or not, whether they even playing it or not, if they are voted to the Pro Bowl, they get a bump. So, and then they can always hold on to like you. There's things, and we do this in our own personal lives too, because it's important to do that. If there's an accolade that you earn, nobody can ever take that away from you, no matter what. They can never take that away from you. So it's the same way with these players with the Pro Bowl. If they earn a trip to the Pro Bowl, if they get voted to the Pro Bowl, especially come contract time, they can use that because that's an accolade that they got. They got voted on by fans, by their peers, by coaches to get into the Pro Bowl. So that goes on their resume. That goes into contract discussions. It's important. But anyway, he said, because if it is, why can't we just get rid of some of the players by trading them for draft picks? Duvernay is a good player in my opinion, but just like what Bateman said, they don't be playing to the player's strengths. Duve is gonna want a big contract, I'm assuming. Let's trade him for D-Hop or someone so nice. I don't think it's that easy. Now, when you talk about that, if you're talking about increasing their value with trades, now that's where it's a lot different. So I thought you were just talking just money and contract stuff like that, but now it's about how these other teams view the player, how these other owners or GMs or head coaches view the actual player. Because now they'll look at he made the Pro Bowl, cool, but then they might be like, I don't really know if this person was a real Pro Bowler. But yeah, so I mean, trading Devin Duvernay for DeAndre Hopkins straight up, no, that wouldn't fly at all. But if they were to trade him, they could get something for Devin Duvernay. I think if they traded him, I think they could get like a fourth rounder. I think a third rounder would be pushing it. I don't think they would get a third rounder for Devin Duvernay. I think they could get like a fourth rounder, maybe a fourth and change for Duve. But I do agree they have not used Devin Duvernay right consistently enough. But I feel like you shouldn't trade Devin Duvernay. I know he's in the last year of his contract, but I feel like you should just play it out. Well, hold up. Devin Duvernay was 2020, right? So 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Yeah, he's in the last year of his contract. So I wouldn't trade. I know he's going to get a bump in his pay. I could see the Ravens re-signing him too. Especially now he's coming off an injury, so that would help the Ravens too. He's not like a premier receiver or anything like that. So if they did sign him to a contract extension, then like they could do it. It'll be reasonable. It ain't gonna be no crazy deal. So yeah, but I would prefer they keep Devin Duvernay. Just the more the merrier. But we'll see. He said, I like Quentin Johnson a lot. Hopefully he's still on the board. I'm glad Giro is gone. He's been holding us back. I started to guess Ravens plays because of how obvious it was. I think a lot of us did that. We had a lot of fun during the season doing that. Well, it didn't end up being fun when we were right. But anyway, he said, yeah, he did his thing and did some good things, but we got to throw the ball better. Do you think the Ravens will trade higher this year or times to come? We don't be doing it that often. What about trading lower? Do you think we are low on picks in this Calais staying? I think they could definitely trade back. I mean, Ravens. But everything depends on today. So everything starts with today. So depending on what happens today and with Lamar, then that'll dictate everything that the Ravens do or don't do. But I could definitely see them trading players for more picks to gain more picks because I don't see any scenario where they go into this draft with 5 picks. Like, really? Ravens? 5 draft picks? Nah, I don't see it. And is Calais staying? Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. Even if they cut him and bring him back or they redo his contract, I don't think Calais is going anyway. He said, hope the family is safe and hopefully Lamar signs. Hey, hope so. Next question came from my guy, Kevin B. He said, let's talk contracts. Hey, Ingraven, hope all is well. Good to hear you and in your voice that you're getting back into good spirit. Hey, appreciate that. Got a chance to catch up on your past vids. Now, when it comes to Lamar Jackson's contract, we really not going to find out until the end. It could be about the fully guaranteed, or maybe it's about how much that's guaranteed at signing, or maybe it's about something that the Ravens threw in there about him staying healthy. Now, the rumors about things getting leaked from someone from his camp, I don't think that someone out of his circle would risk doing that. They've been too tight with info over the past few years. Maybe it was a third or fourth party person outside the circle that heard someone inside talking about something and try to put things together, but inside his circle, no one's talking. Now, let's not get overwhelmed from things we hear because there's going to be too much. Let's just sit at the end of the bar and wait for it to play out. Peace and blessings, my friend. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. Hey, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know. We just don't know. And we won't know until something's official, but today is the day. If we lose Lamar, next question came from my guy Corey. He said, if we lose Lamar, could we trade for a draft pick and maybe get Anthony Richardson? He plays like Lamar a bit and had a good college career. Also, should we trade for a wide receiver like Brandon Cooks since he's pretty cheap? We got to stop thinking cheap. We cannot think cheap. Don't think cheap. Cause don't think cheap. Because cheap, you'll get what you pay for. So no, Brandon Cooks, no. No. Anthony Richardson, the upside is clearly there. Would they go for him? I could see them doing that because he would be like a cheaper version of Lamar. But it's like, you got Lamar now. Well, why not just take care of it? But now, again, it takes two to tango, though. So it is a possibility that Lamar, like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that deal. No, you got to step it up or send me away. But again, we won't know till we know. This question came from my guy Terrence. He said, let's go get OBJ. Ingraven, OBJ's name hasn't been mentioned in any rumors lately, and he's bound to be healthy by the start of next season. I'm not saying it has to be the only move the Ravens make at wide receiver, but signing Odell Beckham Jr. could be huge for this offense. What do you think? If injuries are still a concern, do you think OBJ is unsignable? No, I think he'll definitely get signed by somebody for sure. And I think with OBJ, like, if you can get him for a decent deal, I would say do it. And like you mentioned, it couldn't be the only thing. But if Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., Devin Duvernay, a draft pick, and a trade for a premier guy, if that happens, hey, I'm happy. Caution, we might be setting the precedent. Next question came from my guy Elijah. He said, hope everything is well, Ingraven, and blessings and good health to you and your family and all of Team Keep It Clean. Waiting on those buddy t-shirts. Hey, appreciate you, Elijah. He said, now, let's get to the biggest offseason talks and the debate between the fan base. We already have an apparent problem recruiting wide receivers or keeping them happy within our organization. Now you have fans forgetting we made Flacco play on a franchise tag, and now Lamar is in the same scenario. Franchise tag for Flacco, win? No. Flacco never played on a franchise tag. He played the 5 years of his contract, and he played on the 5th year of his contract. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. Then he got signed to that 6-year, $120 million. Wow, you know how long that? Like, that's crazy. That was in 2013. He got signed to a 6-year, $120 million deal. Things like the amounts of the deals have doubled, and they soon to be tripled. But yeah, he got signed to the 6-year, $120 million deal, which was really a 3-year deal because they were going to rework it after 3 years, which they did. But he got signed after playing out the 5th year of his contract. Well, he wasn't on the franchise tag. But anyway, he said, and now Lamar is in the same scenario. Only difference is he hasn't decided whether he will play on it or not. I don't think he would. But anyway. He said, I still get a feeling he might zig and play on the tag because the media is telling him to zag, sit out. I don't even think it would just be media. I think it would just be him and his people. Like, what do I need to play on the tag for? Like, hey, if you ain't pay me or trade me, we're not doing a tag. That's what I think would happen. But again, I don't know. He said that right there becomes a problem because now under Steve, a precedent is now being set. For the Ravens fans who are confident in trading Lamar, ask yourself this question. Why, if you, a top prospect like Caleb Williams, coming into the draft of 2024, would you want to play for the Ravens? They can't get wide receivers to play here. That's a well-known story. Now they don't want to pay quarterbacks until after the franchise tag. They want all the bang for their buck when it's time to pay. They will try and use the fan base and media to devalue the quarterback's impact for the team. Some fans may be too young to remember this, but Eli was drafted by the Chargers and flat out refused to play for them. Yeah, he said, I ain't going there. No thanks. And let me continue. He said, okay, he didn't talk about it, but yeah, then he ended up getting traded to the Giants. He said, we might become that franchise that quarterbacks aren't going to play for as long as Steve is in ownership position. Now, how as Ravens fans can we compete without a top tier QB and wide receivers? We will quickly become the basement dwellers of the AFC North. Steve Bisciotti is only 62 years old. He might remain in ownership for another 10 to 15 years before he even thinks about selling the team. Also, Caleb, another Heisman winner, isn't guaranteed because he's already being projected number one. So that means even if we trade Lamar, we still will need to tank for Caleb. And I've never been a part of fan base that had to go through tanking, whether it's basketball or football. Those are my thoughts on this subject matter and the reason why I think the Ravens played themselves into a corner if they think it's going to be easy to replace a QB of Lamar's stature. And yeah, when you said that we might be setting a precedent, excuse me, I thought you were going in a different direction. But yeah, you went in a completely different direction than I thought you were going in. And yeah, it could have a big impact depending on what happens with this whole Lamar thing. And even though today we're going to get a big announcement on what's going to happen moving forward, today won't be the end of it. Today is like just the start. Today is the start. And this could be the start of something great. Hey, they put him on a franchise tag, then they end up coming to a long-term agreement with him. Or it could be the start of they put him on a franchise tag and they end up trading him away. Don't change Hammy. Next question came from my guy Sadarian. He said, Ingraven, welcome to the offseason. As I mentioned before, there's so many unknowns this time of the year, especially with Lamar's extension being priority number one. But to keep my mind off that, I've been reflecting on Kyle Hamilton's rookie season. With Chuck Clark requesting a trade last offseason and possibly getting that request answered this time around, Hammy will be a known starter for now. Kyle was a Swiss Army knife, and I don't want him to change. He played in the box, big nickel covering tight end, slot corner, and he was the Ravens' best pass rusher under 30. You're right, though. Hey, the bottom line, he should replace Clark as a starter, but keep the same role as last year. As for Clark's old role, I believe Geno Stone is more than capable of handling that. He even plays like a younger version of Chuck with better hands. In conclusion, Kyle Hamilton was rated the best safety in the league because the Ravens maximize his abilities all over the field. Don't try to fix what isn't broken just because of the starter title. I see what you're saying there. So you want him to still have that same role that he had last year. I think that's going to be tough. But I mean, it was impactful because early on in the season, you saw him on the field here and there and whatnot. But then as the season continued, you saw him on the field more and more and more and more and more. And he did pretty good. He had some hiccups here and there, but overall, his rookie season, in my opinion, it was pretty good. But now, and yeah, you did mention, you said Geno Stone take over for Chuck Clark's role. I see what you're saying, because like you said, you don't want to fix what's not broken. But I wonder if they would want to drop him back more to cover deep, because I don't really remember him doing too much of that last year. But there's Geno Stone. But for Kyle Hamilton, if he can be rangy, I mean, he got the length, obviously. And he got that stride, because like with people that are taller, when they're running, it may not look as fast because they're taller, so they just taking these long strides and whatnot. But they got some speed. But yeah, I get what you say. I just feel like it's so tricky because that's your first round pick, but you didn't mention they shouldn't get with the whole starter thing. It's tricky for me, in my opinion, because it's that's a first round pick. Is it just going to be playing in the box? And what? Boy, he did more than just playing in the box. He's playing close to the line of scrimmage. He's playing close to the line of scrimmage. So do you just want to keep him there as a first-round pick? But you did draft the first-round safety. You ain't draft the first-round corner. But, I mean, he's been playing some corner for you. So, I mean, I get, if Geno Stone going to go back there and kill it playing deep, then I'm okay with it. And the last question on this special episode of Questions Results came from Kenyari. He said, the overhaul. What's up, Ingraven? And I'm sorry about the length of this one. First off, just want to encourage you, man. God gives his toughest battles to his toughest warriors, but he won't put any more on you that he knows you can. But yeah, stay strong, bro. Punch life back in the face and stay resilient. Team, keep it clean as witches. And the last question on this special episode of Questions Results came from Kenyari. He said, the overhaul. I appreciate that. What's up, Ingraven? And I'm sorry about the length of this first. Now, Ravens talk. I'm loving this overhaul. We all see the overhaul happening, but did we won't put any more on you? They're actually investing in Lamar. Really think. Stay strong, bro. Is going. Getting input on Lamar philosophy of an offense. Promoting the right guys. Team Martin and Keith, supporting him. Is it all to say we're giving you all this? We do because a little less money and we can. I appreciate that, Kim. Thank you. He said, now Ravens talk. I'm loving this overhaul because we all see the overhaul happening, but did we stop to think that they are actually investing in Lamar? He couldn't think that way. Giro is gone. They put on Lamar philosophy of an offense. Promoting the right guys. Team Martin and Keith. Because is it all to say if it was about Lamar, take a little less money and we can give you more help? Nope. No.
Where was the help for the past?
Because
3 years?
Again,
I investment these past 3 years.
He couldn't think that way.
Lamar these past
they couldn't think that way. Nobody
after 2019
should think that
boom.
Way
Okay, he's here. Oh, that's
if it was about Lamar, take a little less money and we can give you more help.
We really got one.
So 2020,
where was the help?
Crazy. 2021, he should have went crazy. With 2022,
3 years.
You should have went.
Why
crazy
don't we maximize Lamar?
Those were the years where Lamar was. After 2019, it was boom.
He's making
less. He's here. Oh, that's him. Oh yeah, that's him.
Oh, we got one.
Or they feel they're losing him, which we kind of all do. And they're trying their best to win him. 2021, they should have went crazy with it. 2022.
There you go.
Crazy with it.
Lamar.
Those were the years where
Lamar
got rid of G-Roll,
taking less money.
Lamar, he was making less. Brought in Todd Monken.
Lamar, but they didn't.
Change our philosophy. Or they feel they're losing him, which we kind of all coming down the floor to trying their best to win him over.
Let's see. There it goes.
Either way, besides the contract situation, which I'm still having faith about,
hey, Lamar,
I think we're trending in the right direction.
Got rid of
The front office is making the needed moves,
Lamar,
and it seems more of a reality
brought
to
in
get a
Todd
proven
Monken.
number one or big proven wide receiver to help Lamar take it to the
change our
next level.
philosophy a bit.
With OC
Lamar.
talking as well, coming down to
As
Florida to
he
meet
is.
with, speaking on a spread for Lamar. Sheesh.
See.
And seeming so excited.
Either
I'm
way,
liking it
besides
so
the
far. It could
contract
be
situation,
both,
which I'm
but
still
are
having
there
faith
are these
about,
more
I think
concerns
we're
from
trending in the
Lamar
right
that he's
direction.
bringing to their knowledge?
The front
Or
office is making the needle
moves,
open their eyes because
and
it
it
seems
seems more of a reality to
than
get a
wider
proven number one
for
or big
Lamar.
proven wide receiver to help Lamar take it to the next level. With OC
We'll see.
talking as well,
We'll see soon.
as he is
It's-
speaking on a spread for
It's
Lamar.
so tough to tell.
Sheesh.
We just
And seeming
don't
so
know.
excited, I'm liking it
We
so
don't
far.
know.
It could be both,
We
but
really
are
don't
there
know.
more? Are
We're
these
waiting
more concerns from Lamar that he's
patiently.
bringing to their knowledge?
Some people
Or the front
impatiently.
office finally opening their eyes? Because if so,
But yeah, I mean, the
opening
OC
them
is
wider
a step in the
right
for
direction. I
Lamar.
think that
Jeez.
move should have happened years ago, though. They're moving on.
We'll
from
see.
Greg Roman.
We'll see soon. And just going in a
it's-
different direction. It's so tough
That
to
should
tell.
have happened years
We
ago.
just
Philosophy
don't
change
know.
should have happened years ago.
We don't know.
And we'll truly
We
see
really
if
don't know.
they are
We're
changing
waiting.
their philosophy.
Patiently. Some people impatiently.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah,
some
I mean,
of the
the
stuff.
OC is a step in the right
It's like,
direction.
yeah, it's
I
a
think
step in the right
that
direction.
move should have happened
And
years
they
ago.
again,
They talked a good
moving
game
on from
but
Greg
now
Roman.
let's see if they put the actions
but
behind
just
it.
going in a different direction.
But yeah,
That
sometimes
should
it's a
have
step in
happened
the right
years ago.
direction. Philosophy change should have
But
happened years ago, and
for
we'll
other
truly
stuff,
see if
like
they
as
are
far as
changing
the
their
offense,
philosophy.
we won't know till we know.
We won't
But
know till
yeah,
we know.
it's-
Because
well,
we
some
see
of the
about
stuff-
Todd Monken's offense.
it's like, yeah, it's a
look
step
at
in the right
offenses
direction.
that he's ran in the
And
past.
they talked a good game.
But let's see
now
what
let's see
he
if they
does with the
put
Ravens.
the actions
Let's see what
behind
type
it.
of philosophy they have.
But yeah, some stuff is a step in the right direction.
Now, what is their mindset
But
going to be
for other stuff,
offensively? Like as far as the
what are they
offense,
gonna do?
we won't know till we know. So we won't know till we know.
We just gotta
because
be
we hear
extra,
about
extra
Todd Monken's
patient.
offense. Team keep it clean. It's like probably like an hour and change later after we did all them questions, because I had just been editing the video for a while, and it was taking a while because the editing, like our editing, ain't nothing crazy, as y'all know. It's super simple, basic stuff. But it still is a process. But what was really taking the longest was adding all the names of the Team Keep It Clean patrons to the list that comes up at the end of the video. When I have to do that, like my computer, like I could be typing a name and my computer will like go so slow, and it's like it's begging, like, please help me, please don't add anybody to this list, because like I cannot do anything when I'm adding names to the Team Keep It Clean Patreon. I can't do anything. My computer just can barely handle it. So but I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. But one patron, my guy Jason EG, he literally just sent this question, and I was like, you know what? We'll add it to the video. It's gonna take a little bit longer, and I gotta edit it in it, but it's okay, cause he real supportive, and I appreciate him. So, his question, he said, "Oh, good morning, Ingraven," and he's been a patron for 6 months, so I appreciate that. He said, "Good morning, Ingraven and team, keep it clean. First, I hope you and your family are doing well. I know you faced a bit of turbulence recently." Yeah, a little bit, but it's all good, man. Like I said, it'll hopefully work itself out. The end of this month, and we'll be back to normal. We'll see how it goes, man. Now I don't know much. I don't know how much resolve or resilience you have stored up, or will have stored up today by 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I hope it's enough to really walk people down the path of understanding. Oh yeah, we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens, because again, today is a big day, and it's gonna say a lot. So we'll see. Anyway, he said, my theory, and not far-fetched, if Lamar sees a non-exclusive franchise tag today, the Ravens are basically going to allow the quarterback market to do their dirty work for them. Yeah. And that could be a way that, like, these franchise tags can mean so many different things. They can mean so many different things. One, if it's the non-exclusive franchise tag, yeah, like you said, the other teams are helping the Ravens out, doing the work, coming up with a contract, and Ravens could be like, all right, we'll match it, or all right, no, we ain't gonna match it. We tried, but we couldn't match it. They could do it could be something like that, and they could make the breakup a little bit easier, because in some people's perspective, they might be like, oh well, the Ravens just they didn't have the money to match it. They couldn't do it. So that could make the breakup a little easier for some people. Or it could help the Ravens. Ravens would be like, all right, hey, we'll do that one. There we go. It could help if somebody doesn't do a fully guaranteed. If somebody structures it in a way that it just Ravens could match. Or Ravens could match. So what if it's lower than what the Ravens offered? That would be something too. So we'll see. Anyway, or if it's higher and significantly higher. Like, it can work out so many different ways. But anyway, let's keep going. He said, guaranteed money or not, the Ravens are probably willing to let other teams to throw numbers at Lamar and be willing to match any offer within sound reason. While also getting Lamar, agent or no agent, to see and understand that the Deshaun deal was a wildly poor anomaly. The only team to really fear is this scenario on the surface. With this scenario on the surface is Atlanta. Again, I pray for the sanity of all. Come 4:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's Atlanta, but you know, like, Atlanta, that's a team that a lot of people are thinking about. But you got Miami. You got the Panthers. You got the Jets. Who else? Like, it's and the thing about it, like, these are teams that we all thinking of. But you know, in a lot of these cases, sometimes they're these surprise teams that come out of nowhere that nobody sees coming. Nobody knew, nobody figured, nobody thought about. And they like, boom, all right, hey, we about to make something happen. So it's, again, like I keep saying, we won't know till we know. It's nice that we'll know a little something today, which is a significant something. But this is like the beginning. This is the beginning of us actually knowing something that's going on. But this is not the end. This is not going to be the final result, the final outcome, or whatever the resolution is going to be. Because a franchise tag is not a resolution. It's not. But yes, come 4 p.m., we will be here to talk about whatever it ends up happening. And we'll see how it goes. Love y'all.